Hey folks, a couple things before we start this week. First, after this episode, we're going to be taking a 3-week hiatus. So the second part of season 1 will begin on October 1st. Second, a warning that this episode contains sexually explicit content. So if you're not looking for that, don't listen. Otherwise, here's episode 4. Enjoy. Previously on Someone's in Here. Really? You've never told your partner that you're pooping?
And I can't bear to say that I have to go poop. I just can't do it.
Does he share it with you?
No, because I don't want to know. It's the mystique. Maybe this is societal pressure or something. I don't know.
So I'm single. That's right. I'm a bachelor, and recently I've been thinking about my interview from episode 2 with Dr. Bott, the gut microbiologist, who coined the scientific term for poop, but couldn't bring herself to talk about her own poop with her husband. Now, sometimes I'll be on first dates, and as one of the most prominent figures in the poop positivity movement, I'm ashamed to say I'm sometimes sheepish to talk about this podcast, or poop in general. I've even wondered at times whether I'm single because I talk about going to the bathroom on first dates. This whole exercise had me feeling alone and desperate for answers. And when I'm in a vulnerable state like that, I turn to the internet. I began Googling advice for if you should talk about the bathroom in the early stages of dating. And luckily, it didn't take long to find a promising result. It was called
Couples Pooping: How to Do Number 2 in a Relationship.
Okay, so that voice is an actor, but they're reading straight from the blog that I found. And I gotta say, I really thought I might have found the solution to some of my dating dilemmas. Eager to find out, I continued reading.
You're going to have to trust us when we say we have heard it all when it comes to the bathroom. We have heard every pun, every dad joke, every plumber joke. Trust us, we have heard it all. While we have all read the literature, we often seem to forget that everybody poops. However, there seem to be 2 types of people in this world. Option 1, those that love talking about what took place in the bathroom. Option 2, those that chose to keep all bathroom-related situations private. We here at Pottymints are very much the latter, and to be honest, we don't really understand why people are even friends with option 1. The bathroom experience was never meant to be shared.
Whoa, okay, this blog hates me? This really feels personal? I mean, the bathroom experience was never meant to be shared? That's like the exact inverse of this podcast's tagline. And man, we don't understand why people are even friends with those that love to talk about the bathroom. Maybe people who like to talk about the bathroom are in the minority, but not to the point where we can't have friends? This woman was really coming at the poop positive community. And as I kept reading, it became even more uncanny. They had answers to all of the questions I was looking for, but all of the exact opposite opinions. Here's another one.
How do you talk about number 2 in a relationship? We think this question is pretty much rhetorical because we here at Pottymints believe that you should never talk about number 2, especially in a new relationship. You have a plethora of life experiences and memories to share with this person. Why would you voluntarily talk about using the bathroom?
Okay, I'll bite. Who or what is Pottymints? I did some digging, and it turns out that the author, Suzanna, was actually a founder of a company that makes little mints that you put in a toilet, like an air freshener. And this was the woman telling people you should never talk about the bathroom. It doesn't make any sense. I was perplexed, dumbfounded, fascinated. I reached out to the email that I found on the website, which happened to be the founder's brother, and also the CEO. We went back and forth on email over the period of 2 months until he got frustrated and he told me, quote, "Our entire company is based around the concept of not speaking about what happens in the bathroom, including using words like poop." They won't even say poop. This is a bathroom brand. I wanted to talk to these people more than I've ever wanted to talk to anyone for this podcast. And then they took down the blog. Well, they took down the whole website. Could this have happened because of my emails? Probably not. But who knows the length that this company will go to destroy me and the poop-positive community at large. Luckily, everything on the internet is written in ink. And more importantly, there's a website called The Wayback Machine that I know about because I'm a serious poop journalist. I now had the blog back, and after obsessing about these people for a couple more weeks, I realized what I had to do. I would create my own advice column, how to do number 2 in a new relationship. And I would interview the most option 1 people that I could find. That's right. This week, I'm going to talk to exclusively people that love talking about what took place in the bathroom. The people that Pottymints can't even fathom why anyone would be friends with. Welcome to Someone's In Here, a podcast where we share... You know what? A podcast where we love talking about poop. I'm your host, Ben Castleman. Thank you so much for tuning in. So just to be clear, you're saying you have invited people you're dating into the bathroom to like continue the conversation while you're on the...
Yes. When I first meet someone, if they're down to like stay with me while I poop in like a bar bathroom, I'm like, thank you so much. This was the nicest thing you could have done for me tonight.
This is my friend Vanessa, describing her desire to have people that she just met stay with her in a bar bathroom while she poops. I've known Vanessa since elementary school, and she has never been shy to talk about anything that's on her mind. We actually haven't talked that much about pooping, but I had a feeling that she was not someone the people at Pottymints would want as a friend. Pretty quickly, Vanessa was proving me right.
I feel like there's a stigma with girls pooping, or like, let's say...
So if we were to define the stigma, it's just like women don't poop and men can.
Yes.
And you're like, that sucks. That feels like repressive.
Yeah, because I'm like, so what's going to happen? You poop in someone's bathroom, it fucking stinks, it's disgusting, and then what?
Yeah.
If some guy's like, ew, you pooped, get the fuck out, then like, get the fuck out and never speak to them again. Yeah. Like, what does that even mean?
What assumptions might you make about that guy?
Crazy, number 1. Stupid, number 2. In love with me, number 3.
Obsessed.
Obsessed. I mean, they'd be like an imbecile. Like, yeah. If that was really a reason that you were like counting someone out, then it'd just be crazy.
You're a little baby. It's
yeah, I'm like, are you joking? Like,
you never learned that
everyone poops.
Yeah, I'll give you this literal children's book.
Maybe it's just about women and having bodily functions. Like, it's not like anyone's, yelling to the hills about their period ever. Like, people are honestly like just as hush-hush about their periods.
After feeling personally attacked by Pottymints, it was nice to be in a safer environment. Society might be hush-hush about women's bodily functions, but Vanessa didn't seem restricted by this. My question now were there any taboos she did feel restricted by? I feel like you're the type of person where no topic is off limits. Is that fair to say?
Yes, except I'm not going to talk to you about Michael Jackson.
Are you being serious?
I am.
Is that a general policy?
I'm not going to talk to you about Michael Jackson on this podcast. I'm not going to talk to you about Michael Jackson outside of this podcast.
No, dude.
I don't want to talk about Michael Jackson.
That's
but anyway, to answer your question, yes, most things are not off limits.
Vanessa and I had to regroup offline because I was so surprised and slightly concerned by this answer. But she assured me she's fine. She just knows people are passionate about that subject, and she tries to avoid it. Luckily, the only thing that is off limits for Vanessa doesn't have much to do with pooping in relationships. So let's bring it back to that. Let's say you met your ideal man, and it's been like a couple years. How comfortable should the two of you be with sharing your lives in the bathroom?
If I know that I'm going to poop and it's going to take a long time, I'm going to beg the person to come in with me. If you really, really didn't want to, fine. But...
Yeah, but I think we're dreaming. I think we're like doing the ideal.
Okay, yeah. I'm going to poop. Yeah, will you come sit on the bathtub while I poop? So we can continue talking?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We certainly don't need to be talking about the poop. Just to clarify. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Vanessa's ideal man would join her in the bathroom when she's taking a long poop. I don't really need that from my ideal woman, but I'd certainly rather have that type of relationship than whatever Pottymints would want. Actually, we don't have to wonder. We're going to read some more of the blog.
Now, we think the way a potential partner treats using the bathroom is very telling as to the type of person you are considering being in a relationship with. Let's go back to our two options from before. Option 1, you have the partner that not only speaks to you about their bathroom experience in detail, they do so from the toilet. Option 2, when it's your turn to use the restroom, there is plenty of toilet paper, it's clean, the seat is not wet, and thank God the seat is down. And most importantly, they treat the bathroom like Fight Club. You don't talk about it. We don't know about you, but option 2 is bathroom goals.
Okay, brushing past the fact that Pottymints just equated anyone who talks about the bathroom to some sort of deranged slob. We now have a nice spectrum of points of view, from Vanessa to Suzanna from Pottymints. To continue our relationship guide, I wanted to talk to a couple. And to keep on theme, I got a couple that was more option 1 than option 2. But I'm going to let you decide what side of the spectrum are your bathroom goals. Okay, can you both introduce yourself, please?
Oh, yeah. Hi, my name is Lovia Jache.
My name is Sean Williams.
And why am I talking to you today?
And we're here to talk about relationships, our relationship, and poop. No?
I actually did not read the email, Ben.
Oh, God.
But we spoke, so I was like...
All good. How long have you two been together?
This is contested because technically we started dating in 2020.
But not really, because we were dating years before that also.
Consecutively 3 years.
Consecutively 3 years.
Yeah.
Cool. In general, how comfortable are you talking about going to the bathroom with other people?
You go first.
I literally couldn't care less. I talk about going to the bathroom all the time. Because I go to the bathroom a lot.
I probably care a little more than Sean, but my tolerance has changed since being in a relationship. I'm much more comfortable now talking about poop. I won't bring it up, but if we're talking about it, I'll contribute.
I mean, my journey through engaging with poop is different because when I was a child, my mother told me I shouldn't use the bathroom at my school because it was dirty. And because the other kids were using it and they were gross. And I took it literally and I tried my hardest not to use the bathroom. And in kindergarten, I pooped my pants and I had to go home and I was crying all the way home. I pooped in my pants. And ever since that moment, I vowed that, that was never going to happen to me again. I was going to poop wherever I had to poop and I didn't care. Like, I'm going to make sure my poop is a top priority.
Did you tell your mom?
Of course. I was furious. I was furious at her. And then she had the audacity to tell me I didn't mean it literally. Like, I didn't.
Yeah, it could be difficult messaging for a kindergartner.
I guess.
It's tough when you're 5.
But in a way, she helped liberate you for the rest of your life.
She did, 100%.
So silver
Just
lining.
to spite her. Just to spite her, honestly.
To spite his mother, Sean developed an attitude where he would never let societal taboos take priority over his physical needs. On the other hand, Lovia's attitudes were shaped by her upbringing in a different way.
I grew up in a very conservative household, so there was a lot of focus on appearance and being polite. And so there were these like very rigid boundaries around bodily functions that go beyond even just pooping, right? Like, having your period or any kind of excretion. It was like, just don't talk about that. But I'm more liberated now.
Do you guys feel like there's a stigma around women going to the bathroom?
Oh, I totally feel like there is. I have a whole thing about how I also think this relates to humor, right? Like a lot of raunchy humor is about poop and bodily functions, and women are also not seen as like in mainstream, historically haven't been seen as people who are funny or can joke about that sort of stuff. It's not as accepted,
Because like you were saying before, ladylike. It's not traditionally a ladylike thing.
Yeah, like we live in an oppressive, gendered society. And so I don't think women have historically been allowed to be open or honest about their bodily functions in the public sphere because it's always been relegated to the private sphere.
Mm-hmm. Have you heard other men say something to the effect of like women don't poop, Sean?
Yes.
What?
It's a joke. It's just like, it's more like men projecting that they don't even want to envision their woman pooping. For no reason at all, really. Like, it's so natural. Like, why would you want to envision them pooping? I actually envision women pooping and then they clean themselves so much more meticulously.
Do you want to share any visions that you've had of women pooping and cleaning themselves?
No, I just like to, I understand that women have to poop. They're going to poop. And I give them the space and grace to do that, no matter what the situation.
Lovey, you'd feel comfortable pooping around Sean now.
Yeah.
I'll be right there in the room sometime, just having a conversation.
That's not true. I asked you to leave.
I've been in the bathroom talking to you while you're pooping before.
That's maybe true.
Yeah.
I feel like once or twice, but most of the times I'm like, get out.
Why are you telling Sean to leave?
Because I feel like also pooping for me is also personal time. Like my life is so chaotic now that like I do spend a lot of time scrolling. So.
It's like a time to relax.
Yeah, it's like self-care.
Well, that's positive.
Yeah.
Sean, don't mess with that, man.
Exactly.
That's right. I'm done. You actively pee in front of me now, also.
I do actively pee in front of you.
I love that.
I don't know. I think it's not uncomfortable, but I definitely react viscerally. Like if we're on FaceTiming and I hear you pooping, like I hear the turds dropping, I'll be like, whoa, and then I'll hang up.
That's so interesting. There's like, I wasn't expecting so much almost like love to be conveyed in your answers. And then there's like one like line, I don't know, like what do you think it is about like the plot? Like I also don't like hearing people use the bathroom generally.
Yeah.
What do you think it is about a plop where you're like, that's too far?
It's like the word moist. You're just like, oh, visceral. Like I can't, for me, it's a purely visceral thing.
Mm.
I don't even like hearing my own plops. I think sometimes I'm like, oh.
Plops are scary. Plops are gross.
Even though Lovia went through some growing pains, it's pretty clear that as a couple, they're now firmly in the option 1 category. Which I don't think we should take for granted. That's a hard place to get to. Sean, are you proud that you've played a part in Lovia's liberation?
Love that. Love that we can both use the bathroom at the same time. If we're having a conversation or like I find a funny meme, I could just like run in the bathroom and be like, yo, you got to see this. Like this is real.
Yeah.
It's just more opportunity to hang out, it seems like.
Exactly. Yep.
Totally.
Are you proud of the progress you've made?
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Because I think for me, it's like part of this, my broader goal to just be a more open and honest person as a sort of like counter programming of my like religious upbringing, you know? I like being able to like talk about it. I think it's good and healthy.
For all of my option one single people out there, I think Sean and Lovia can give us hope that talking about and even talking in the bathroom can not only work in a couple, but can bring two people closer together. Relationships are all about sharing intimate spaces. And now that our guide has provided a healthy example of how to act regarding the intimacy of the bathroom, it only seems right to cover intimacy in the places where couples get the most intimate. Does the fact that we poop make us less desirable as sexual beings?
Ooh. No, I don't think so.
We have to poop. If you're not pooping, if you're not pooping, you're less desirable, I think. For me, because like
because you're unhealthy.
Are you okay? Like,
yeah. I think desire and intimacy are really like go hand in hand, you know? And I think the more intimate you can be with a person, the more desirable they become in your eyes, actually. So
you both seem to feel like the fact that you can be comfortable talking about this topic, which is intimate, is like, I guess, desirable, I guess, like sexy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think vulnerability is sexy.
You do.
I do. I love to talk.
I think there's an instinct that some people have that if we don't talk about the bathroom, it'll go away. But that's not reality. I don't think you need to talk about the bathroom to make your relationship work. But it does seem repressed to me to pretend like these things don't happen. My instinct as the host of Someone's In Here is to get as close as possible. So this guide is going to take a turn, and we're going to see how it feels when these points of intimacy meet each other. To set up the next chapter of our Pooping in Relationships guide, here's Suzanna from Pottymints one more time.
Well, since you decided to make your bed this morning, you must be expecting the company. We figured we would give you our tips on how to do number 2 in a new relationship.
In general, how long does it take you to be comfortable pooping at someone you're dating's place?
That's a tough question. I mean, if it needs to happen, it's going to happen. If it were less of an urgent situation, I'd probably try to hold. And it's less about the poop. But like if something's like happening, like
physically,
so yeah, something intimate, or if it like who knows what's going to happen, I'd rather not have pooped.
Just feels better to be intimate when you didn't just poop.
Yeah. Gotcha. I really don't like engaging in penetrative or penetrative.
Either one. I'll take either.
I really don't like engaging in penetrative sex when I have to poop. Like, I hate it. I'm just like, I just wish this weren't happening because I can feel it. You know what I mean? Or maybe you don't know what I mean. You definitely don't know what I mean. Yeah. But like, it's like I feel this like, and nothing's going in like the butt region, sure. But I can still feel it, and I don't know why. But like the pressure when my stomach isn't like empty, it just like is like kind of just like uncomfortable. I mean, I'll do it, but like I'd rather my stomach were empty.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Well, That was quite the start to this next chapter. And Vanessa is right. I don't know exactly what she means because I've never, I have more experience with things coming out of my body than, I want to give you guys the best information. So I set out to talk to someone who had experience with both things coming out of their body and things, going in. So I found someone. She's a professional, actually. I'll let her introduce herself.
Hi, my name is Addis Fouché. I'm a born and raised New Yorker, a Virgo, and a porn star. That's me.
Awesome. Well, thank you for coming on. I have realized in making this podcast that I am much more comfortable talking about poop than I am talking about sex.
Yes.
Knowing that to some extent we're both people encouraging others to talk without shame or embarrassment, do you think it's weird that I'm sometimes shy to talk about sex?
No, I don't think it's weird at all. I think, honestly, we're very conditioned to not talk about sex. I think.
Nice. That's a relief. Pottymints might think I'm weird for talking about poop, but Addis doesn't think I'm weird at all. I was already feeling more confident after one question with a porn star. Maybe at the end of this conversation, I will even know the correct pronunciation of penetrative. Penetrative?
Yes, I think it's a difficult topic for people to talk about, but I think it's also a difficult topic for people to think about. A lot of times when I talk to people outside the sex industry, especially, they're really good at telling me what they don't like, right? Like even just in dating, I'll use that as a simple example. A lot of girls are like, I don't want a guy who's, a Scorpio, a skater, or a banker, right? They have all this laundry list of things that they don't like, but they don't really know what they do like. Through doing sex work, I've allowed myself to learn about what I like and what I don't like. And therefore, sex has become something that is really easy for me to think about and talk about.
Were you always comfortable talking about it?
Actually, yes. I think I was. Honestly, I just am one of those people who's very chatty all the time. And I also was somebody who was having a lot of sex. I lost my virginity when I was 17, I think. And after that, I was like, wow, sex is kind of fun. And I just kind of embraced that part of my identity. I skipped school one day when I was in high school to get my nipple pierced. And I went up to my friends at track practice and I was like, guys, I got my nipple pierced. And my track coach was like, Addis, you can't be showing people your nipple at track practice. And I was like, okay, that's pretty true. So yes, I've always been open about it.
Yeah, to an extent where sometimes people have to bring you back and be like, I think, that's not a track.
I was also 17 and not, the critical thinking skills were not quite honed in yet, but I've always been very comfortable talking about sex. And then also being a runner has really made me really in tune with my body.
Yeah. I mean, you use your body in so many ways, both for professional and
honestly, through running is how I discovered my cadence for going to the bathroom.
Can you talk a little bit more about that? What is your cadence about going to the bathroom?
Well, personally, I'm a morning pooper. I'm also a morning runner, right? So it has to be release, then you run. I feel like there's two camps of runners. There's runners who like to feel super light and nothing's in their stomach because they might feel a little heavy or their stomach hurts if they're running. And there's other runners who like to feel full, fueled. I know that I'm not going to faint because I feel fueled. That's me.
So you're in the empty camp. You want to feel empty.
Oh, no, I always have to have eaten food because the thing is with the digestive tract, and this is also a thing that I keep in mind with shooting anal scenes. I stop eating around 5:00 the night before my scene, right? So I will be fueled, but let's say if I'm shooting a scene on a Tuesday, 5:00 Monday, I'm okay, stop eating. I finished eating for that day.
When is the Tuesday shoot in this scenario?
Let's say 10 a.m. call time for for hair and makeup and stuff. So you're probably not on camera until maybe noon. And then right before I shoot, I will eat. I'm very much in the camp of when I run, I like to feel fueled in my stomach, but the bowels are empty. Same thing for shooting.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Did prepping for anal scenes or porn in general feel somewhat familiar because of how you had to prep for running?
Actually, yeah. My digestive system is something that I really have to take care of because I know that if I eat right, I will feel well. I will be better prepared for my athletic endeavors, and I'll also shoot way better too. Like if you're constipated for a scene, it's not gonna be a fun scene.
Yeah, that does not sound fun. You see, this is why we talk to the professionals. And just as Addis has to do prep for her anal scenes, I have to do prep work for my interviews. Which is how I know that porn is not the only type of sex work that Addis has experience with. She's also done work as an escort. And so I knew I had to ask if any of those experiences involved bathroom intimacy. Correct me if I'm not using the terms that you use, but have you come across requests for like piss play or scat play in your sex work? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Do you remember the first time someone requested that and like what your initial reaction was?
Yeah, I remember the request for both actually. So the first time I peed in someone's mouth, I was just not expecting that. And it was really hard to pee in someone's mouth because we're so trained to go to the bathroom like by ourselves, like with a closed door with a toilet. And then I had to just like pretend he wasn't there. And then I let it go. And I was like, oh, okay. And then he drank all of it. And then he left. And I was like, cool.
Oh, that was it.
Yes, that was it. And then the first time I experienced a scat fetish, this guy was really excited about his upcoming birthday. I remember he was a Scorpio for the astrology people who care. And he wanted me to shit on the floor. And I was like, we should get some newspapers, right? Because like, this would be easy cleanup. And I remember because we were meeting up in the afternoon, I had to like time it because I'm a morning pooper, right? We talked about this.
Right.
But it was hard to do that as well. So I had to be like, okay, you can't talk. You can't touch me. Just pretend that you're not here because then I need to focus, right? And so then I was able to release. And then he just gathered the newspapers and then he sniffed it and was like jacking off.
Did he finish?
Yeah.
And you didn't do anything besides poop on newspapers?
Yeah. I think I maybe was like rubbing his balls a little bit, but that was kind of it.
I don't think either of us want to like kink shame at all. Mm-hmm. What do you think was arousing to those people about those acts?
That's a difficult question. I think there's something very pleasurable about feeling like you are interacting with something that is so like beneath normal human consumption. And there's also something very taboo about it. And that also is like an element of like excitement. It's like a secret, it's surprise. Like, have you ever like, had sex in a public place and like been like, oh my God, I hope nobody sees us? Or like, had relations with somebody that you weren't telling and it was like kind of a secret because it was hot. Personally, like I'm open to exploring other people's kinks. Like,
you mean professionally, but like for personal.
Or personally. Yeah, or personally. Yeah.
So would you be open to piss or scat play in your personal dating life?
Yeah, I think it would definitely be something to talk about. Like if they were like, I want you to shit on me, I'd be like, okay, we can talk about that. I think that's something we can probably work on. Would I want to be shat on? No.
Right. So it would be for them and not for you. Okay.
Right, exactly. Now I'm curious about you. How comfortable are you integrating or thinking about the integration of the bathroom and your sex life?
I don't really relate to finding like piss play or scat play arousing.
That's not even necessarily what I was asking. I wasn't going to be like, Ben, so are you going to like hop off this call and like go do some scat play? But just even thinking about it more like, so like, okay, like let's say if you were going to do some anal, like are you thinking about like, okay, how does this impact bathroom situations or my partners or,
oh my God,
is there like, other things like that? Not necessarily the fetishes.
I would definitely, if I was like interested in having anal with a sex partner, now that like I know a little bit more about like what goes into bottoming, I would definitely like think, I don't know, we should have a conversation about it.
Yeah.
I don't have interest in bottoming myself, but if I did, just like the amount that I have to think about like when I eat in relation to like when I get like nervous or like an event that's coming up, I can't imagine prepping for anal or like anal scene or just bottoming in general. Like, that sounds very complicated for me specifically. So I'm glad I don't have interest in doing it.
Yeah.
It's possible that we've strayed a little bit from a universal relationship guide, but these are good things to think about. It's never too late to open your mind and prepare yourself for hard conversations. As open as Addis seemed, both to new experiences and personal conversations, I was still wondering if there were any circumstances that gave her some pause regarding dating and the bathroom. What is your dating life like right now, if I can ask?
Oh my God, I'm so glad you did. So right now, I kind of am a lover girl who's for the streets. That's how I like to put it. I love having meaningful relationships. And I also am acknowledging that, like, I don't want to put pressure on someone to be everything for me. Like, the people in my little roster, my rotation, my 5-tiered rotation, I care about all of them.
Are you ever like shy to go to the bathroom around a new potential person in your rotation?
Yes, I am. And usually what I'll do, like if I'm on vacation with somebody, I will the night before, this is so chaotic of me, but I will wet or somehow like ruin every single towel in the bathroom. And then in the morning, I'll be like, I'm just going to go get us some new towels. We need some. And then I will use the hotel lobby bathroom and poop in there. And then come back with the towels. So like, yes, I am usually nervous about that. But talking about poop is not hard for me.
Okay, but actually doing it makes you a little anxious.
Yeah, I think
it's so interesting that there's this pain point, even for Addis. And I was starting to feel like there was something weirdly familiar about her story, like deja vu almost. Something about hotels and the bathroom. Oh my God. I know where I've seen this before.
Funny enough, I actually created Pottymints after my first vacation with my then boyfriend, now husband. He kept randomly showing up to our hotel room with Swedish fish and Snapple for me from the lobby gift shop. After a couple of days, I basically had a stockpile of candy, but he was still insisting on going to get more treats. Trying to be all cute, I was like, no, stay here and watch a movie with me. He was like, no, let me get you some snacks and I'll be right back. I was like, no, I'm all good, stay here. He was like, no, you don't get it. I need to go to the bathroom. The candy immediately made sense. For 5 days, he had been using the hotel lobby restroom and used the candy as a decoy. Well played. A couple of days later, the idea and the name for Pottymints was born.
Wow, this was crazy. Addis had basically the same experience as the origin story for Pottymints. In my quest to get as far away from Pottymints as possible, I had come all the way back around to Suzanna from Pottymints' very definition of couple goals. It would seem that whether you're an option 1 person or option 2, sometimes this is just a scary, awkward place to be. Hopefully, since I couldn't talk to the people at Pottymints, Addis could help me navigate these waters. Where do you think some of the fear comes from about like a new partner and pooping around them?
I think that there is an expectation for women to always be like very beautiful and even like to an unrealistic level. I think especially as somebody whose job it is to be hot all the time, there's a mental block for me to let that barrier go, even if it's with somebody that I'm very, very close to. So I think that's also part of where it comes from for me.
And partially, like, whether you like it or not, you're like trying to protect that in some ways.
Exactly. Like, I mean, I have eyelash extensions in. I feel like if I don't have my eyelash extensions in, I look like Tommy Pickles. And I try to always keep that up. There are qualities about performers that humanize them to a degree where you feel close to them. And then there's some that make you feel like it's a little too close for comfort. And I think for a lot of people, whether they realize it or not, poop might be one of them.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that's interesting. Like, you and I as I said, are both people that like work in taboos or trying to break taboos. And like, it's really interesting for me to find like where my lines are and where other people's lines are. Do you have any advice for someone who is scared of broaching a taboo topic with their sexual partner or significant other?
Let me think about this. I would say approach it either as a want or a need, because there's some type of sexual things that are like, I want to try this thing, or I would prefer it if things went this way. And there's other things that you actually would need sexually. So there's ways to frame a conversation as a want versus a need. So I think really approach it that way, because I think the way your partner generally processes wants and needs is going to really help you inform how you can talk to them about it.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's very smart. Romance and the bathroom are not often talked about together. It's clear that some people would like it to stay that way. Everyone that you heard in this episode, including me, showed some aversion to marrying the bathroom with their romantic lives. It is not a perfect fit. But if we're really listening and respecting all of our partner's needs, I'm not sure how much it makes sense to completely ignore one of our most fundamental ones. I would just say that there are times in a relationship where you're going to want to be private, and times you're going to want to share. Going to the bathroom might not be sexy. Well, at least not for most people. But vulnerability is sexy. And wanting to share your bathroom life does not mean that no one should be friends with you. Instead, for some people, it could grow to be just one more part of you that they love. Thank you so much for listening. This podcast was created, edited, and produced by me, Ben Castleman. Thank you to all my guests, Vanessa, Sean and Lovia, and Addis. Addis Fouché can be found on Instagram at Addis Fouché. And Sean makes very cool eclectic music using the artist name Sweezy for Real. Thank you to Amara Leonard for playing Suzanna from Pottymints. Pottymints, if you're listening, I still want to talk to you. Reach out. This episode was produced by Jacob Sherman and Adam Yates. It was scored with original music written and composed by Gabe Grand. The theme music, which you are listening to now, was written by Alex and Matt Schumann. The cover art is by Yeji Kim. Our consulting producer is Shane McKeon. Additional editorial help from Marie Kilaru. You can find us at TikTok, Instagram, or YouTube at someone'sinhere_podcast. And if you want to get in touch with us, you can email at someone'sinhere.pod@gmail.com. Thanks again for listening. I'll talk to you soon.